The Mysterious Journey to the Land of Apples. Once upon a time, in a small village filled with apple trees, there lived twin siblings named Rick and Raina. They were just 8-year-old children, but they loved apples more than anything. They often went to a small grove adjacent to the village to play, picking up fallen apples to eat. The shiny red, delicious apples always brought them great satisfaction. One day, while Rick and Raina were walking in the grove, they encountered a mysterious old man at the base of a large, ancient oak tree. The old man seemed to have come from the direction of the village, leaning on his cane. He had a long white beard and wore old brown clothes. "Grandpa, where did you come from?" asked the curious Rick. The old man smiled slightly and answered, "I come from a place not well known to everyone, the land of apples." The twins opened their eyes wide in surprise, hearing about the land of apples for the first time. The old man continued, "According to an old tale, there is a small secret country in this world called the Land of Apples. It's said that this apple grove is the entrance to that country." "Really? Is there really a land of apples?" asked Raina, staring with her big eyes. The old man nodded slowly and said, "Yes, it is said to truly exist. The apples themselves possess power, and by eating them, you can transform into a smaller size. Doing so allows you to enter the entrance to the country from this grove." Rick and Raina wholeheartedly believed the old man's story and immediately ate the bright red apples from the grove. Mysteriously, their bodies gradually shrank until they were about the size of the palm of a hand. They had become as small as squirrels. The old man placed the now tiny Rick and Raina into an empty apple basket. Standing in front of a hole at the base of the large oak tree, he said, "Here, this hole is the entrance to the land of apples. Let's go," and he entered the dark cave that lay beyond. The two, still in the basket, were carried by the old man deeper into the cave. The air around them changed as they moved, and looking up, they saw light streaming in from the ceiling. "Look, that's the land of apples," the old man pointed, slowly moving the basket towards the light. Soon, the scene that unfolded before them was a world made entirely of apples, surrounded by apple trees. There were apple trees, apple houses, even apple roads. The vast scenery left Rick and Raina utterly overwhelmed. "Amazing! The land of apples really exists," Raina exclaimed in delight. The old man placed the two at the base of an apple tree and said, "Now, you must walk on your own. Be careful not to be seen as a threat by the people of the land of apples." He gently tapped their heads with his cane. The two thanked the old man and stepped onto the ground of the land of apples for the first time. As they walked through the apple tree forest, apple fairies appeared to greet them. The fairies, dressed in clothes made from apple blossoms, fluttered and guided the twins. Finally, they were taken to the apple village. Rows of apple houses stood, and the apple people were seen going about their daily work. The villagers were initially bewildered by the tiny appearances of Rick and Raina, but soon greeted them warmly and shared apple snacks with them. After the tour of the apple village, the two were invited to the apple palace. The palace shone a brilliant red and was round and swollen in shape. Stepping into its luxurious interior, they found the Apple King seated on an apple throne, guarded by apple sentinels. "Welcome to the land of apples," the king greeted them with a dignified tone. "This is a secret country that ordinary people cannot enter. But I want to sincerely welcome you, special guests." The Apple King then instructed the apple fairies to bring apple sweets and juice, which were served one after another. Rick and Raina ate so much, unable to resist the deliciousness. In the land of apples, they were treated to a perpetual apple festival. However, a dangerous threat lurked in this wonderful land of apples. A giant spider monster lived deep in the apple forest. The spider monster was powerful enough to attack not only the village, but even the apple palace from time to time. One day, while Rick was walking in the depths of the apple forest, he was suddenly surrounded by the spider monster. Wrapped in its web and in distress, Raina gathered the apple fairies and villagers to rescue him. The group arrived at the spider monster's lair. At the entrance to the lair, the hideous spider monster appeared, writhing. Raina, signaling the fairies, attacked the spider monster with apple fruits all at once. Caught off guard, the spider monster tried to retreat into its lair, but the villagers had already sealed the entrance with spider webs. The trapped spider monster staggered under the concentrated apple attack. Seizing the opportunity, Raina took a giant apple sword and swung it down at the monster's head. The sharp blade pierced the spider monster's head, and a loud scream echoed through the forest. The monster writhed in agony before gradually ceasing its movements. Led by Raina, the group cheered and celebrated their victory. However, from within the spider monster's lair, they heard Rick's cries for help. Raina, with the villagers and fairies, opened the entrance of the lair to find Rick captured inside. The two were reunited safely and hugged each other tightly. The Apple King expressed his gratitude to Rick and Raina for bravely defeating the spider monster, giving each of them a special apple. These apples held magical powers that would allow them to return to their original world. "I am deeply grateful for your courage in protecting and saving the land of apples. Now, live happily in the world you desire," the Apple King said, handing them the apples. Rick and Raina expressed their thanks to the people of the land of apples, bidding them farewell with a heavy heart, and bit into the magical apples. Their surroundings gradually blurred, and everything went dark. When they opened their eyes, they found themselves back in the grove. The old man was standing there, looking relieved as he welcomed them. "Did you have a fun adventure?" the old man asked with a smile. Rick and Raina nodded, expressing their joy. "It was a truly wonderful adventure. Thank you so much." From that day on, whenever Rick and Raina saw apples, they not only thought of their delicious taste but also remembered the gateway to the mysterious world. For them, apples became a symbol of eternal memories and proof of their adventure.